So I'll show you guys in a sec, but I still can't believe that this plant started out as a wet stick. It has grown so much and it's just so gorgeous. And let me just show you guys. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Hakuna La Planta. My name is Kevin and welcome back to another video of houseplants A to Z. For those that are new here, in each video I will talk about a plant or plant group that starts with each letter of the alphabet. Today's letter is G and I'm going to be talking about the Philodendron Glorious. So this is actually the newest leaf here. She has a few leaves and she's been doing amazing. In this video, I'll talk a little bit about the plant, followed by a care guide, and then I'll just share a story of an unexpected kind of propagation story, which actually ended up in a success, and I actually have that plant right now. And I'm not sure yet, but at the end of the video, I'll show you guys a repot of this plant. I just think it needs a moss pole right now, and I have a couple of the plants, and I'm just gonna merge them into one pot and attach them to the pole. Before I start this video, if you're not yet subscribed to my channel and you like my content, I would appreciate it if you guys would subscribe to my channel. And also follow me on Instagram. I think it's down here. It might be down here. I think it's down here. I took a month off from posting anything on YouTube or social media. I just needed a much needed break. And specifically on YouTube, I'm so overwhelmed because I didn't even post anything in the month and I got about 100 new subscribers and I'm so thankful and welcome. Please don't leave me. But yeah, I'm just so thankful and it's just so amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get on with this video. Okay, so for those that don't know, the Philodendron Glorious is actually a hybrid between the Philodendron Melanochrysum and the Philodendron Gloriosum. This plant was initially crossed by Keith Henderson in the 1970s in, I think, Australia. It shares characteristics from both plants, so I actually own both these plants, so I'm just gonna grab them individually. Okay, so this is the Philodendron Gloriosum. So you could see the striking veining of the leaf. And side note, it has a new leaf. I'm really excited. It seems to me that the only obvious characteristic that the Glorious takes from the Gloriosum is essentially the wider leaf shape. And the main trait that the Glorious loses from the Gloriosum is basically it is more of an epiphytic plant as opposed to a terrestrial growth pattern like the Gloriosum. And again, for those that don't know, you could see that terrestrial basically means that it grows and crawls on the floor of forests. And so you could see here that it is crawling. It's crawling. And with the Glorious here, you could see that it tends to climb upwards as opposed to staying on the ground of either the soil or, in this case, the LECA. Now looking at the Melanochrysum, I actually have a juvenile version of this plant and also a mature form. So starting off with the juvenile form, I actually have it on the other side of my Glorious here. So let me just pull up the more mature leaf. So this is a juvenile Melanochrysum leaf. It does have more of a coppery, darker tone. And let me just grab the mature version. I'm really excited. This plant is just so strikingly amazing. And let me just show you guys. Okay, this plant over here, oh my gosh. First, look at this leaf. Insane. And this is actually the newest leaf here. It looks kind of wonky and you guys can see that it's not hardened off yet. But oh my gosh, I am so happy. Look at this leaf. It's crazy. Should I put you guys next to each other? Okay, we're just gonna do that. Yeah. So looking at the characteristics that the Glorious carries from the Melanochrysum, like mentioned before, the leaf color tends to be a deeper coppery, I don't know if you would describe it that way, but I'm using that term, more of a deeper tone than the Gloriosum leaves. The Glorious is also an epiphytic plant like the Melanochrysum. I have, however, heard reports of this plant growing hemi-epiphytically, so doing like a crawl climb kind of situation. And last but not least, the characteristic that is probably the most annoying one that it carries from the Melanochrysum is that this plant needs high humidity. The only trait that it loses is that the Glorious leaf isn't as elongated like the Melanochrysum leaf. Okay, now looking at the care of these plants. So I'll just insert an info card over here and I'm just going to talk about a few key things. I've noticed that the Glorious is less tolerant of cooler temperatures than other philodendrons. So you should keep this plant at a minimum of 65 degrees Fahrenheit or 18 degrees Celsius. The second thing that I want to talk about that's really important is that this plant, again, needs high humidity. I wouldn't recommend anything lower than 60% humidity. I actually keep my plant right on top of the humidifier, and that's because of a few reasons. The first reason is that I don't really have room anywhere else around my humidifier, but also I've experienced that sometimes when there's a new leaf unfurling, the leaves can get stuck. And when the new leaves get stuck, basically the new growth kind of pierces a hole through the leaf. And you could see some evidence in the younger leaves. So this one managed to come out, but you could see that spot over there. That's basically the petiole pushing out the leaf when it got stuck. And then I think there's another one, if I could find it. I think there's less of that here, but I was having so much anxiety with that. A tip that I can give you guys is basically if you see a new leaf coming out, I would suggest taking a spray bottle just full of water, and I would encourage you guys to just spray that leaf or the whole entire plant maybe once or twice a day. And this essentially gives a proper, I guess, lubrication for the leaf to kind of pop out. For the soil mixture, again, I would suggest a chunky mix consisting of a lot of aeration components. And I always like to use a organic slow releasing fertilizer like worm castings. Okay, so now I'm gonna tell you guys about this story of how I propagated this plant. So when I first got this plant and I was repotting it into LECA, I noticed that there was a lot of stem right below the main root system. And so I decided to chop it and I just threw it into LECA. And obviously we see on the internet the horror stories about wet sticks and how they're really hard to root. But anyhow, I just threw it onto LECA. There wasn't really much to lose really. And I just kind of had water in the main reservoir. And eventually, look at this picture here. It has one single root and it has this cute little leaf. Once I saw this, I then repotted it and then I included a nutrient solution with it. So I'll show you guys in a sec, but I still can't believe that this plant started out as a wet stick. It has grown so much and it's just so gorgeous. And let me just show you guys. So here she is today. She has a few leaves. This is the newest leaf here. And it has a few others. So that's one. And then this is the same small little cute leaf in the picture. So yeah, she has grown up quite a bit. And do you know what? She kind of has this, she's kind of catching up to her mom. Like these leaves are almost the same size. Obviously, this was just an experiment, so I don't know if I would necessarily recommend it. But then again, I guess you have nothing to lose if you just have a wet stick. But I think the more recommended route when you have a wet stick is to use either sphagnum moss or propagating in perlite. Again, I think I just got super lucky because I've had some horror stories when it comes to wet sticks and rot. So please do this at your own risk. Okay, so in the last part of the video, I guess I'm going to show you a repot. And at this point, I guess I'll look at the roots, see if there's any rot. Looking at these two plants, I don't think there's any rot. They look pretty healthy and they've been growing pretty quickly actually. So it'll be interesting to see how healthy the root system is. Okay guys, so I have my moss pole here. I just essentially zip tied it in there. And I mean, that's the biggest issue with moss poles in LECA. It's hard to find one where it has like either a really solid heavy base that it could kind of just stand alone in the pot. A lot of times I have to basically tie it to the net pot, which is no big deal. So because I was using the same pot, I kind of just took out the plant without filming. I am pleased to say that the root system looks amazing, and there's like barely any rotted roots. So I'm very happy to see it. And I'm gonna repot the Melanochrysum somewhere else, but it's the same thing with its roots. They look great. And there's a little bit of rot, but it looks like, it's fine. Actually, what's that? Okay, so the second one here, I'm just going to do the same thing. Okay, that was easier than the last one. The roots are just latching onto the LECA. Let me try to do a flip side over here. But yeah, look at that. That looks great. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put some LECA at the bottom, and let me just clean up a little bit before I go and show you. Oh, why was it? Ugh, my God. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little more LECA. Again, something I've learned is basically watch where you put your nutrient solution, because your roots can rot, especially if it's not a plant that specifically likes to sit in water. So that's one situated. I'm just going to, what can I grab? Actually, it's staying. So I'm just gonna grab the second one. Let me show you guys again. So this is the wet stick. It grew a root just over there, and then it popped out this beautiful plant. Okay, enough of that. Oh, let's put you in right over here. Okay, so now I'm just going to throw on the LECA. And I'm probably gonna fast forward this part. Okay guys, so I just finished repotting and putting a moss pole for my Philodendron Glorious. And yeah, I'll obviously keep you guys updated on my Instagram and also here if you guys want that. But yeah, I guess that's it. If any of you guys have any more suggestions about care for a Philodendron Glorious, please let me know in the comment section below. And if you guys made it to the very end, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. And I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye.